Good afternoon, fellow truth seekers. Another beautiful Sabbath day in Texas. Today, we're going to count it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials. Yes. And why are we going to count it all joy? Because in your faith, it's going to have a work that's perfect. Oh, you mean to tell me God's going to do a perfect work in you and I? Oh, yes. And that we're going to have a perfect work, wanting nothing. Wow. Okay. So then the key is trials are not proof that God has abandoned us. Trials are often where our faith is tested, where our character is strengthened, where Jesus is more revealed deeply in us. James says, don't count your trials. Yeehaw. Count that Jesus is working in you. Count it all joy because God is doing something eternal. Of course, nobody likes trials in this world. I mean, today in church, somebody said, why do bad things happen to good people? And some of you know, some of you don't. But a week ago, I had a stroke. So, it's time to get over it, right? I mean, it's this world. We live in this world. But what does Jesus say? Jesus says, hey, be of good courage, because I've overcome the world. So therefore, we know we're going to have tribulations in this world. We know that. And if you don't think you're going to have tribulations, I got news for you. It's going to happen. King James in John 16:33 says, I've spoken unto you that you might have peace. But then it says, ye shall have tribulation in this world, but be of good cheer. Why? Why should you be of good cheer? Because I have overcome the world. But Jesus said, ye shall have tribulations. I don't know about you. That doesn't sound like good news to me. Be of good cheer. How can I be of good cheer when everything's bad news happening to me? Why? Because Jesus has overcome the world. Overcome the world, right? Jesus is the overcomer. Does that mean you're never going to overcome? You're only going to overcome in Jesus. Trials test what you really believe. James says, knowing this, that trying of your faith works patience. So therefore, the trials reveal whether our faith is only works or whether our faith is really rooted in Jesus, right? Trials ask the question, do you still trust Jesus? Do you still believe his word? Do you still obey him when you see but don't understand? Excuse me. Trials do not create unbelief. They often reveal, oh, I don't like this. Guess what? Trials but often reveal where unbelief is hiding. Oh, man. You mean it's just revealing where I already need to work on? Yes, God uses trials to produce things. I don't like that. You want production of all these beautiful things in Jesus, but no trials. Well, that doesn't happen in this life. I don't care what you say, it doesn't happen. God uses trials to produce patience, one, and steadfast, and the ability to remain faithful under pressure. God, is forming Christ in us while we're on trial. Romans 5:3-5, not only because we experience tribulations, but knowing that the tribulation works patience, and experiences hopes, and hopes we're not ashamed of. And guess what? All of this makes us mature Christians. Yes, that's what we're all about. Oh, I don't want to be a mature Christian. What do you want to be then? Oh, you just want to be a baby Christian. But Paul says we all must grow to the maturity in Jesus. Oh, man, there's that maturity thing again. Okay, we're going to have perfection of maturity. That doesn't mean perfect without Jesus. That just means that everything we do will be perfect only in Jesus. And therefore, Jesus taught himself, learned obedience through suffering. There's that suffering word again. Jesus says, consider it all joy, and now he's got into suffering. And then in Hebrews, Jesus suffered, Hebrews 5:8. But you know what? Let me ask you a question, fellow truth seekers. Did Jesus ever sin? Did he? Did he ever sin?
No.
Oh, no. So that means that even though Jesus was rejected, Jesus was misunderstood, Jesus was betrayed, Jesus suffered unjustly, he remained obedient to the Father. So trials reveal Jesus in us. That's it. And when we say, okay, all right, I'm rejoicing for a season, maybe it'll be okay. Peter says, your faith is tested by fire. Oh man, I'm going back to James. Peter's too heavy. Okay, Peter says, faith tested by fire is more precious than gold, but I don't want to be tested by fire. Fire burns things down. So we're going to have to realize Satan uses the enemy of all of our trials to destroy. But that's not what God uses trials for. See, the enemy says, I'm going to unhinge you with trials. God says, I'm going to strengthen you with trials. So my grace is sufficient, Jesus says. So in closing here, we're going to look at count it all joy doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Count it all joy. Jesus wept. David cried. Paul was troubled. Peter spoke of heaviness. And so they all counted it all joy. Doesn't mean you're not hurting. Doesn't mean you're not tired. Excuse me. It means even in this, God is faithful. Even in this, Jesus is with you. Even when the Father is working in you, is Jesus' faith in you will make you strong. So in closing, there was three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Oh, and then Jesus. They were all in this fiery furnace. And they all met God in the fiery furnace. And those three men said, whether God delivers us or not, we're not going to worship. Okay, so here's the thing. 4 men were in the fire. Who was the fourth? Our Savior, Jesus Christ. He's promised to be with you in the fire. And that promise is for every believer that wants to be with Jesus. Not in this world, but in the world to come. Jesus doesn't waste trials. All right? He uses them to produce more and more good works. Good works, not from the standpoint of earning salvation, but good works because in those works, we are producing behavior and maturity for Jesus. Okay? Jesus is with you. Jesus is forming you. Jesus is strengthening you. Jesus is teaching you for endurance. He's making you a mature and complete Christian. Do not measure God's love by the absence of trials. Oh, sugar. You mean I need to think that the more trials I have, the more God's with me? Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought the more I didn't have trials, the more I was blessed by God. But you see, that's not in this world. So when Jesus says, I have overcome this world, that means count it all joy, not because it's easy, but because Jesus is taking you to a different kingdom, a kingdom of heaven. Thank you, fellow truth seekers, and have a blessed